The check-in that never cleared. I didn't think much about the hotel when I booked it. That's the honest truth. It was a last-minute work trip, the kind you don't prepare for emotionally. One night, cheap rate, close to the highway. I needed somewhere to sleep and leave early the next morning. The place was called the Riverside Hotel. Every town has a riverside hotel, and none of them are memorable for good reasons. From the outside it looked normal. For floors. Base exterior. Yellow lobby lights glowing through the windows. The parking lot was half full. No warning signs. No boarded windows. Just tired cars belonging to people passing through. Inside, the lobby smelled faintly of lemon cleaner and something older underneath. Dust maybe, or the lingering scent of things that never quite left. The carpet was worn thin near the desk, darker where thousands of feet had passed. Christmas decorations were still up even though it was already mid-January. A plastic tree stood in the corner with half its lights burned out. The front desk was empty, not abandoned, not closed, just unattended. A brass bell sat on the counter. I rang it once. The sound echoed farther than it should have, like the lobby was larger than it appeared. After a few seconds, a woman stepped out from a hallway behind the desk. Mid-40s, neat uniform, hair pulled back tightly. Her smile appeared a fraction too late, like she had to remember to put it on. "Checking in?" she asked. She didn't ask for my name. The elevator ride felt wrong immediately. There was no music, no floor indicator, just a low mechanical hum and the uncomfortable sensation that it was moving slower than normal, like it was hesitating between floors. When the doors opened on the third floor, the hallway lights flickered once, then steadied. Beige carpet. Patterned wallpaper. Doors evenly spaced. Too evenly spaced. Everything looked copied and pasted. Room 312 sat at the very end of the hallway. Inside, the room looked fine. Bed neatly made. TV off. Bathroom clean. Window facing the parking lot. Nothing out of place. No smell. No stands. No obvious red flags. I locked the door behind me out of habit. I dropped my bag on the chair and went to shower. That's when I heard the knocking. Not from the hallway. From inside the room. 3 slow taps. I froze with the towel still around my waist. The sound came again. Same rhythm. Same distance. The closet. I stood there longer than I want to admit, listening. Trying to rationalize it. Old pipes. Building settling. I've stayed in worse places. I opened the closet slowly. Empty. Just hangers and a spare pillow. I laughed out loud, mostly to prove I could. Dressed quickly and turned on the TV for background noise. Local news. Weather. Nothing unusual. Then a banner scrolled across the bottom of the screen. Guest missing from Riverside Hotel. Last seen checking in. My stomach tightened. They showed a photo. The man looked about my age. Same jacket. Same haircut. Same suitcase. The knocking came again. This time from the bathroom door. I backed toward the main door and tried the handle. It wouldn't open. Unlocked. I checked twice. Still wouldn't move. My phone buzzed. A notification from the hotel's Wi-Fi network. Welcome back. I hadn't connected to their Wi-Fi. Another message appeared. Checkout pending. That was when I realized I hadn't actually checked in. I stood with my hand on the door handle longer than I should have. It wasn't locked. Felt locked. Like the room didn't want me to leave yet. My phone buzzed again. Checkout pending. I tried switching off the Wi-Fi. The notification stayed. I turned off the phone completely. The screen went black, but I could still feel it vibrate in my hand, like a heartbeat that didn't belong to it. I went back to the TV. The news had changed. Now it was security footage. Not labeled as such. Just footage. The camera angle was from the hotel hallway. 3rd floor. My floor. I watched myself step out of the elevator. Same clothes. Same tired posture. Same hesitation before walking down the hall. I remembered that walk. I remembered thinking the carpet felt too soft. The footage followed me to room 312. I watched myself knock. 3 times. The timestamp said I'd arrived 2 hours earlier than I actually had. The screen split into 4 feeds. Different angles. Same hallway. Same door. In one feed, I entered the room. In another, I never did. I stood in the hallway waiting. In a third feed, I turned around and walked back toward the elevator. In the fourth, I stayed perfectly still. My reflection in the TV lagged behind me when I moved. Just enough to notice. I backed away from the screen. The room felt smaller now. The walls closer. The ceiling lower. Like the space was being adjusted. The knocking started again. This time it wasn't coming from one place. Came from everywhere. Inside the walls. Under the floor. Above the ceiling. 3 slow taps, repeating, overlapping, never syncing up. I shouted for help. My voice sounded swallowed, like it never left the room. It opened. The hallway outside looked normal at first glance, but the lights were dimmer than before. The carpet pattern looked stretched, warped slightly, like it had been copied too many times. I walked toward the elevator. Every door I passed had a paper tag hanging from the handle. Room numbers, dates, names. Some of the names were crossed out. Some weren't. I reached the elevator and pressed the button. Nothing happened. Behind me, I heard footsteps. I turned. A man stood at the end of the hallway. He was wearing my jacket. He was holding my suitcase. He looked exhausted, relieved. "You made it," he said. I asked him who he was. He smiled, confused. "I'm checking in." The hallway lights flickered. The front desk clerk appeared behind him, standing impossibly far away at the other end of the hall. She smiled the same practiced smile. "Transfer ready," she said. I backed toward the stairwell. The door was gone. Just a blank stretch of wall where it should have been. The man stepped closer. Up close, I could see the differences. His face was almost right, but not quite. Like a copy that had been smoothed, simplified. No scars. No small imperfections. He looked like me after forgetting something important. My phone vibrated in my pocket. I didn't take it out. I asked what happened to the missing guests. She tilted her head. "They're still here." The hallway screens turned on. Every wall lit up like a display. I saw rooms. Hundreds of them. All identical. All occupied. People sitting on beds. Standing in bathrooms. Watching TVs that showed hallways. Watching themselves. "They monitor," the clerk said. "They wait. They hold the place together." I realized then why the hotel never felt empty. Why the lobby was always warm. Why the system never cleared checkouts. The building wasn't haunted. It was staffed. The man stepped past me and unlocked room 312. He went inside. The door stayed open. Inside, the room looked exactly the same. Except the bed was unmade. Someone had just slept there. The clerk looked at me. "Your stay is complete," she said. The lights went out. When they came back on, I was standing at the front desk. A bell sat in front of me. A man stood on the other side holding a suitcase. He looked tired. He rang the bell. The sound echoed farther than it should have. I smiled. "Checking in."